what's up, my little tattletales? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are Jennifer Lopez, y'all, what am I talking about? If you don't know, Jennifer Lopez and Ben were caught at the premiere of her new movie, Shotgun Wedding. Isn't that ironic? Jen had a shotgun wedding, and now at the premiere of her new movie, Shotgun Wedding, her and Ben were caught having a tip. Now listen, y'all can be like, oh my God, there is a video if looks could kill of J-Lo going in on Ben. And Ben almost pleading with her that he wasn't drinking. Jennifer then giving him a look, picking up the glass he had been drinking with and sipping it to see what he was drinking. And baby, he wasn't drinking apple juice. That's what it looks like. Jennifer then had a look of complete sadness, disappointment, betrayal, you name it, she had it. So where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us with the fallout. But like my good friend Robin pointed out, and like we're going to talk about, every single time Jen goes through a PR disaster, they put out a bunch of stuff in the media to divert. But baby, is there any diverting from this? Because guess what? She is now selling her LA home. Why is that? Why is that important? Because baby, don't you remember just months ago, right? Ben and Jen were looking for a home. They found a Russian oligarch's home. I believe it was 50 million. They were going to buy that home. They even went through, inspections and stuff. For whatever reason, that sale fell through. Everybody said, why would the sale fall through? Especially because Ben and Jim were like, this is for our forever home. We're going to have a blended family. This, that, and the third. Well, y'all, what happened after that? Ben and Jen then announced that they were going to be moving into Jennifer's old house in Hollywood. And listen, by old house, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous mansion. I'll put some pictures up, if I can get to it, right? It's a gorgeous mansion in Hollywood. And the thing is, I remember even at that time being like, that's weird. I thought she lived there with Marc Anthony. And she couldn't stand that place. Why would she be moving in? But Robin, thank you so much, girl, pointed out to me, it wasn't Marc Anthony she lived there. Do you know who she did live there with? A-Rod. And she was completely against moving into that house, back into that house to share her life with Ben. Now, there was more than enough room around. So what did Jennifer say? Because everybody was still like, why haven't your families blended? Why aren't you guys living together? What actually is going on? That's when they announced, guess what, guys? Even though Jennifer was extremely against it, she's going to renovate the whole property. All the kids can design their own room, and that's going to be their forever home. Even though just a couple of weeks ago, she was like, absolutely not. I don't want to live anywhere that I built a home with A-Rod. Now, this was a new thing when everyone's like, why are you guys still not living together? This is getting odd. Are you sure everything's good? Well, baby, guess what? That's been scrapped. They are not going to stay and renovate that house. And guess what? After we just caught Ben, right, drinking and all this stuff, Jennifer Lopez announced via TMZ that she's selling that home and that she is taking her twins and they're moving into a rental. You guys, if this isn't smoke equals fire, I don't know what is. Let's get into this. Okay, now you guys, before we get into the actual news report, which I'm firmly believe that Jen's people actually planned it. Listen, me and Robin were talking about it, and these some questions I want you to keep in mind as we're going into this, because you have to understand these are the issues and you have to keep them in mind if you want to see past the BS, okay? Let's get into this. Now, questions we should be asking ourselves, okay? So J-Lo's putting up her Bel Air mansion for sale. What, one, happened to the alleged renovations? And what about each kid picking out their own room, right? And let's not forget, Jen's been talking about how much trouble it is to blend the family. And what about Ben may or may not be paying for the renovations? Because let's not forget, Ben's only worth 150 million. J-Lo is worth 400 million. Now, we're going to talk about the kids actually renovating the rooms, because I made a big deal out of the fact that J-Lo took her kids from Miami, where they've lived all their life, and in a moment's notice broke up the family between her and A-Rod, started dating Ben, got engaged, and within a moment's notice moved them to LA. And I was like, listen, that has to be very, very traumatic for the kids to go from everything they've known in Miami to LA. I know their daddy is rich and their mom's good looking and rich, but there's a very different culture in the Miami circles as there is in Los Angeles. But what's more, here's the thing no one's ever focusing on. What about Ben's kids? If you don't remember, he was with Ana de Armas or whatever, the girl, the Cuban girl that starred in Blonde, right? He was with her. The kids loved her. His family loved her. They grew very attached to her. When they broke up, it was very traumatic to the kids. Now, all of a sudden, he's married, right, to J-Lo. He's married to J-Lo. And let's not forget, he didn't bring the kids in on the decision to ask her to marry him. He asked her to marry him, and then they told the kids. They like to play word to, but if you read all the reports, it sounds like as soon as she said yes, the kids and Jennifer were the first people to find out after she said yes, okay? You have to think that both kids, J-Lo's kids, had made like family with A-Rod's kids, and Anna, Ben's old girlfriend, had really, really won the kid's heart. So now you see J-Lo, and J-Lo's trying her best, but again, you know how kids are. It's just like, I don't want to get attached to anyone, because the last person I got attached to didn't even last. Anyway, right? What else do you want to keep in mind, right? Also, and this is the most important thing that you want to keep in mind, Marc Anthony never lived in that mansion with J-Lo and the twins. She and Marc, according to reports, were divorced long before the purchase of said house, okay? However, A-Rod and the kids all lived together at that mansion. That was A-Rod, his daughters, and J-Lo's forever mansion. Now, why is that important? Well, I think it's actually messed up that J-Lo, like, before A-Rod messed up, was like, these are my daughters, I love her, love you, whatever you want, this and that. And as soon as she thought of A-Rod, she completely forgot about those kids like that. Okay, but let's get into this, right? And also, when you hear this report, keep in mind the negative publicity that surrounds Bennifer, like that TikTok video of him drinking, like all this stuff. Now listen to this TMZ article and tell me there's not smoke and a fire. They said J-Lo is selling her Bel Air home for a huge profit. I said, wow, J-Lo found a buyer for her home? That's interesting. No, but listen. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck planned to renovate her Bel Air home after the couple got married. But they pulled the plug on the plan, and now she's selling with the prospect of an eye-popping profit. This will take you into PR Celebrity 101. The headline says she's selling for a profit. Now you hear she plans to sell it for an eye-popping profit. So the profit's not guaranteed. So you don't have a buyer. So you're putting your home up on the market for more than double the price that you paid for. But you don't have a buyer. But the reason you're putting it up on the market is the fact that you're going to make an eye-popping profit? How? Where? How? Anyway, they said she just listed her home a stone's throw from Hotel Bel Air, and also Jennifer Garner. That's really why Ben wanted to move into that house. One, I think he thought it'd be cheaper because Ben doesn't want to invest any money with Jennifer. This is what I believe. It's all my opinion. But two, J-Lo's house was 20 minutes away from Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner's house. Now, funny thing that just popped in my head. Do you think that when J-Lo bought that mansion with A-Rod, she knew, well, of course she knew Ben lived 20 minutes away, which in California time is nothing. Do you think that she was hoping to what? Run into Ben at what? The local Vons, the local Ralph's, the local, what's the thing that starts with a G? Christie's or something like that? Do you think that's what was going on? I don't know. She said that was her man forever, ever, ever. Maybe she wanted to rub her happiness in Ben's face. Okay, now, She listed her home for $42,500,000. They said, now get this. In 2016, she bought the property from Silla Ward for $28 million. They said, you do the math. I am doing the math. How? Listen, I can buy my house and list it for $1 bajillion. It doesn't mean you have a buyer. And again, if you guys are so happy in love, why are you now putting that house up for sale? Are you trying to cut all ties to California? Or is this a PR smokescreen to get attention off of the fact that Ben, it looked like, was caught drinking on that red carpet? And if you go to TikTok, there's TikToks of them arguing on the carpet. Anyway, right? And by arguing, I mean giving each other dirty looks, steely glances, Ben acting guilty as all HE double hockey sticks, and J-Lo just being on edge. They said the estate is almost 8 acres and it's an insanely large property for the area. The main house is more than 12,000 square feet with 9 bedrooms and 13 bathrooms. It's got all the bells and whistles, an infinity pool. This place looks gorgeous. A 30-seat screening room, gym, guest house, 100-seat amphitheater, and on and on. Yeah. Now here's the thing they're saying. Ben and Jen have been looking for a home for well over a year and have seen literally scores of properties. We're told they're currently in a rental and on the hunt again. Where did the rental come into play? Yeah. With the profit she's pocketing, it's not going to make a dent in her wallet for sure. Again, this is the last thing I'm going to say. There are rumors coming out that Jen has put Ben out because Ben doesn't own a home in California, and Jennifer Garner is not letting him to move back in, especially after she's dating Johnny Miller, right? Johnny Lee Miller. There are rumors now that Ben is living in a rental again because he's starting up the drinking. J-Lo's at the end of her rope and she doesn't know what she's going to do. Now, listen, here's the thing. Keep your eye on this gossip because I'm telling you, there is smoke and this fire is about to be burned, baby bird. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I will talk to you later, but I'm telling you, there is something going on between J-Lo and Ben. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.